Education program. She currently teaches in East Los Angeles, where she is a teacher leader and recently spoke in front of the California State Board of Education as a Teach Plus Policy Fellow. Thank you, Michelle, for returning to Cerritos College to share your continued journey and encourage our Teacher Track graduates this evening.
Good evening. It is an honor to be back on this campus and be here with you all tonight. Future educators and Teacher Track graduates of 2019, congratulations. You have chosen not only the most rewarding profession on this planet, but you have also chosen to take a path in which you will be given the opportunity to not only impact future generations, but also to learn more about yourself than you could have ever imagined possible. I'm going to start by sharing with you all my journey to becoming an educator, as well as 3 takeaways I've reflected along the way. As a child and through high school, I struggled academically. By the time I reached 9th grade, my academic gaps were so large that it was difficult for me to focus in class, but it was easy to become a distraction. I remember never feeling a connection with my teachers, and I was often sent outside of the classroom. Every time I was sent out of the class, to this day, I remember my teenage brain internalizing a message of, "You don't matter, and I don't care about you learning." I share with you this story not so that you can feel bad for me, but as a reminder that when children are acting out, there is always a reason. For some kids, myself included, it's more than one reason. I can also tell you what I don't remember. I don't ever remember a teacher asking me, "What's wrong? Are you okay? Do you need to talk?" These frequent experiences with not just one, but multiple teachers had me wondering, am I the only student who struggles to this depth, both academically and connecting to teachers? These feelings and thoughts led me to the Teacher Track program here at Cerritos College. Shortly after I was enrolled at Cerritos and took my placement test, I soon found that I tested in the lowest math class, English class, and I also needed to take a reading class. I couldn't believe how unprepared I felt for college. But as I asked more questions, I found that college readiness and having a choice about our future was sometimes non-existent for people of color like myself. I also came to a sad realization that a child's zip code has a strong correlation to their outcomes in life. It was at this time I started to notice a real opportunity gap. I began to see education inequity as a civil rights issue. And for me, this is one of the many reasons that I do the work I do every single day in East Los Angeles. I urge you to ground yourself in your why. Why do you want to become a teacher? What's your story? I'm going to now share with you all 3 takeaways I'm continuously reminding myself of as I navigate through my teaching career. Just a quick caveat, any student stories, please know I've changed their name to protect their identity. And with that being said, the first thing I've taken away in this journey is the need to having a growth mindset. My student Jennifer taught me the importance of having a growth mindset very early on in my career, and that sometimes we as teachers have to find different strategies to connect with our students. On the first day of school, because Jennifer was not following directions, I asked her to move her clip down. When I asked her to do this in such a calm voice, she began to scream, push all the stuff off her desk, proceeded to get her backpack from the cabinet, pack up, and tell me, "I'm going home, I hate you." I began to use what triggered her as a guide for me to try different strategies. But it wasn't until I took the time to actually sit down and talk with her one-on-one that I really got to know her story. She shared with me about her parents and how they constantly argued. She shared with me things she experienced as a child, things she had seen and heard. And keep in mind, she was only 8. After several lunches with Jennifer, she slowly started to come around in class. We found alternative strategies for her to use if she got upset or angry. We practiced what it looks like to accept feedback. If you're thinking how much Jennifer grew, think about how much I also grew from this experience. I'm constantly reminding myself that when students are struggling with behavior, they are trying to communicate with me that they are hurt, not getting enough sleep at night, or that they don't understand the way I'm teaching or what I'm teaching. Or maybe they are trying to process why their parents were yelling at each other the night before. These precious kids do not need discipline, or to be suspended or expelled. They need love, consistency, accountability, an adult who they can trust, who loves, respects, and believes in them. The second thing I've taken away from this journey, along with having a growth mindset, is to constantly look at all the work I do with a lens of, is this what's best for kids? With 1 out of 10 students dropping out of high school in California, we need to have the courage to make every decision around what we do as an educator and what is expected of us to do with the lens of, is this what's best for our kids? For example, is it best for kids to use a specific curriculum exactly as it is designed to be delivered, or is it best for our kids that us educators take the time to fearlessly dissect the curriculum and make it culturally relevant and rigorous for kids in a way that they can connect to and access, but also that they would be more engaged in? The answer is yes, right? But the next question would be, are you willing to find a way to start that conversation? I think it's crucial that we are also doing what's best for kids by being willing to advocate at state levels and within our districts or organizations as well. I've had the opportunity to work as a teaching policy fellow for both Los Angeles and the state of California. And this exposed me to a deeper understanding of the ed policy world because it helped me to see more than just my school. I began to notice that many decisions at the state capitol are rooted in money and political interests, not in the interests for kids. The State Department of Education appeared shocked to see teachers like myself at committee meetings. Shocked because it's usually paid lobbyists and or other people who have nothing to do with education, who are years removed from the classroom sometimes, and they're advocating on behalf of our children. The disconnect is pretty real, and it's sad. Our children deserve so much more. I think we can also do more to put students first by advocating for more mental health services in schools. Devastatingly, with suicide being the second leading cause of death for ages 10 to 18, we need to recognize that 1 out of 3 students in underserved communities are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. But in most schools, we only focus on the 1 or 2 kids who are really struggling emotionally because of certain behaviors they are exhibiting. What about all the other kids who are quote-unquote compliant, but fly under the radar and struggle internally with managing and expressing their thoughts or how they feel about their traumatic experiences? We can teach kids all the academic skills they need, but if we aren't willing to address mental health not only first, but continuously, then really, what are we preparing our children for? While having a growth mindset and finding multiple ways to do what's best for kids, the third, and probably the most important thing I've taken away is to make sure, just like you would on a plane, that you have to put your oxygen mask on first. Sadly, 44% of teachers quit teaching within their first 6 years. So what would you do differently to maintain and sustain your needs so that you can be the best teacher possible for your students? For me, I'm starting to get more into mindfulness meditations, listening to affirmations, and just being in nature. I finally began to realize how much those activities renew and sustain me. Having a growth mindset, constantly looking at all aspects of education with the lens of, is this what's best for kids? And remembering to put my oxygen mask on first are the 3 biggest takeaways I've had within this educational journey. I could share with you a handful more, but we'd be here through the weekend. However, if you ever want to collaborate, volunteer, observe my class or the amazing educators at my school, consider this your invitation. I'm sure we can work something out with Colleen so we can connect and collaborate. But remember, it's important to stay connected. Some of my best friends to this day I met here in the Teacher Trac program. This is such an exciting and transformational time to be in education, and I truly believe the Teacher Trac program is a unique experience that provides future educators a high-quality foundation to start their educational profession with. The Teacher Trac experience is also one that puts you in a position to participate in upper-level course discussions with a lens that not many other people at the school you're transferring to will have. And as we close out, I'd like to leave you with this final note. Whether you end up in a charter, a traditional public school, a private school, or a Montessori school, be about schools who do good for kids, where kids are happy, enjoy learning, and have teachers who respect them. It's us teachers who have created this sort of rivalry, if you will, between charters and traditional public schools. And to be honest, these conversations are extremely divisive, and they do nothing for the best interests of children. Instead, we can change these conversations to be about finding high-quality schools, no matter what kind of school they are, and expose their best practices. Again, a conversation that's putting the best interests of kids first. Teacher Track graduates of 2019. It will be you, your growth mindset, as well as your collective knowledge to continue to advocate for what's in the best interest of children in all situations so that we can both peacefully and strategically develop a solution to end one of the biggest civil rights issues of our time.